The silence that kills. The silence that kills. Read 1 Samuel 19 verse 4. Jonathan spoke well of David to Saul his father and said to him, Let not the king do wrong to his servant David. He has not wronged you, and what he has done has benefited you greatly. Think. We often think of sin as something loud. Explosive anger. Harsh words. Physical violence. Public betrayal. But sometimes the most damaging thing is not what we say. It is what we refuse to say. In 1 Samuel 19, King Saul is spiraling. Jealousy has taken root in his heart toward David. The songs praising David's victories echo in Saul's mind like a threat. Anger festers. Suspicion grows. And soon Saul is not just irritated. He is murderous. David is not in the room when Saul vents his rage. But Jonathan is. Jonathan had every reason to stay quiet. Saul was his father. The king. The authority in the room. Speaking up could cost him. It could strain family ties. It could shift power dynamics. Silence would have been safer. But Jonathan refuses to blend into the background. He speaks well of David. He reminds Saul of the truth. He defends the absent. He pushes back against injustice. He interrupts the path toward violence. And his courage saves a life. We rarely connect silence to the sixth commandment. But sometimes you can participate in destruction simply by saying nothing. Think about how often conversations drift into criticism when the person being discussed is not present. It can happen in an office break room, around a dinner table, on a golf course, in a group chat. One person begins tearing someone down. Another adds a detail. A third laughs. The tone shifts. The current strengthens. And you are sitting there. You may not contribute. You may not nod. But you also do not speak. There is a kind of quiet that protects peace. And there is a kind of quiet that protects cowardice. Jonathan teaches us the difference. True loyalty shows up when someone is absent. Anyone can praise a person to their face. It takes courage to defend them when they are not there to defend themselves. The silence that kills is subtle. It tells itself, "This is not my business. I do not want to create tension. It is not worth the awkwardness." But if the conversation is moving toward harm, it has already become your business. You do not have to be dramatic. You do not have to preach. Sometimes a simple sentence is enough. "I do not think that is fair. Have you talked to them about it? Maybe there is more to the story." Those words can shift a room. Imagine if Jonathan had said nothing. Saul's anger would have deepened unchecked. David's life would have been even more at risk. Silence would have quietly sided with injustice. And we face similar moments more often than we realize. You hear someone mock a coworker's mistake. You hear a friend tear down their spouse in public. You hear a rumor forming. You see someone being excluded. It is easy to become conversational scenery, to blend into the background and let the current carry on. But the sixth commandment calls us higher. It calls us to protect life, not just physically but socially and relationally. It calls us to preserve dignity. It calls us to defend image bearers. Speaking up does not mean becoming combative. It means being faithful. It means caring more about truth than comfort. There is also another kind of silence that harms. The silence of withheld affirmation. The silence of unspoken encouragement. Some people have never heard someone defend them. Never heard someone say, "You did well. I believe in you. You matter." Sometimes we starve people by staying quiet. Jonathan did more than defend David. He affirmed him. He reminded Saul that David had served faithfully, that his actions had benefited the kingdom. Jonathan used his words to build instead of break. We have that same opportunity every day. Ask yourself, where have I chosen comfort over courage? Where have I allowed conversations to drift into harm without gently steering them back? Where have I withheld encouragement that could strengthen someone's heart? The silence that kills is not always dramatic. It is often disguised as neutrality. But neutrality in the face of harm is not harmless. Jesus never used his voice carelessly. But he also never withheld it when truth was needed. He defended the woman caught in adultery. He confronted hypocrisy. He protected the vulnerable. He spoke with clarity and compassion. We are called to do the same. The sixth commandment is not only about avoiding violence. It is about actively preserving life. And sometimes preserving life begins with a sentence spoken at the right time. Jonathan chose courage over comfort. He chose loyalty over silence. He chose truth over fear. And because he did, someone lived. Apply. Today, if you find yourself in a conversation that begins to diminish someone who is not present, gently redirect it. Speak truth with humility. Also, look for one person you can intentionally affirm or encourage. Use your voice to protect dignity. Pray. God, give me courage to speak when it matters. Guard me from hiding behind silence when someone's dignity is at stake. Help me use my words to defend, encourage, and protect. Teach me to value